All right, we begin with the gentleman around whom this fight card was built, the former UFC undisputed featherweight champion, now moving up to the lightweight division and competing in our main event, Ilia Topuria. $155, the official weight for Ilia Topuria. All right, next fighter to the scale is the future UFC Hall of Famer, the most decorated fight stopper of all time, and the former undisputed UFC lightweight champion of the world, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. 154.5, the official weight for Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira, and with that, your UFC 317 main event is now official. Next fighter to the scale, weighing in as a backup for the lightweight championship main event, top-ranked contender Arman Tsarukyan. 155, the official weight for Arman Tsarukyan. All right, next fighter to the scale, the other champion on this card, the undisputed UFC flyweight champion, making the fourth defense of his title, the cannibal Alexandre Pantoja. 125, the official weight for Alexandre Pantoja. All right, next man to the scale, one half of the co-main event, competing for the undisputed flyweight championship, the number 4 ranked contender, Kai Kara-France. 125, the official weight for Kai Kara-France. All right, next athlete to weigh in this morning, competing on the pay-per-view main card in the bantamweight division, Felipe Jungle Boy Lima. 135.5, the official weight for Felipe Lima. All right, next man up, competing in a lightweight prelim live on ESPN, Vyacheslav Barshov. 155, the official weight for Vyacheslav Barshov. All right, next fighter to the scale was to compete in a middleweight prelim, weighing in even though his fight has been canceled, Jackson McVeigh. 185, the official weight for Jackson McVeigh. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a welterweight prelim, the veteran Nico the Hybrid Price. 170.5, the official weight for Nico Price. All right, next fighter to the scale, one half of the featured prelim in the middleweight division, back for the first time in a long time, Jack the Joker Hermansson. 185.5, the official weight for Jack Hermansson. All right, next man up is his opponent in that featured prelim at middleweight, Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez. 186, the official weight for Gregory Rodriguez. All right, next man to weigh in, competing live on pay-per-view, the number 9 ranked lightweight in the world, Beneil Dariush. 156, the official weight for Beneil Dariush. All right, now we welcome his opponent in that lightweight main card bout, the number 11 ranked contender, Renato Moicano. 156, the official mark for Renato Moicano. All right, next man to the scale, competing in a featured bout in the flyweight division, the number 12 ranked contender, Joshua Van. 125.5, the official weight for Joshua Van. All right, next man to the scale, competing in a heavyweight prelim, Alvin Hines. 259.5, the official weight for Alvin Hines. All right, next fighter to weigh in, the number 8 ranked flyweight in the women's division, Viviane Araujo. 125.5, the official weight for Viviane Araujo. All right, next fighter to weigh in this morning, competing in a welterweight prelim, Jacoby Smith. 170.5, the official weight for Jacoby Smith. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing live on pay-per-view, the number 1 ranked contender in the flyweight division, Brandon Raw Dog Royval. 125.5. The official weight for Brandon Royval. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a featherweight prelim live on ESPN, Hyder Emil. 145.5 for Hyder Emil. All right, next fighter to the scale, charged with kicking off the pay-per-view main card in the bantamweight division, Peyton Talbot. 136, the official weight for Peyton Talbot. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim live on ESPN Plus in the heavyweight division, Jonata Janiz. 257.5, the official weight for Jonata Janiz. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim live on ESPN in the featherweight division, Jose Miguel Delgado. 145.5, the official weight for Jose Miguel Delgado. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim live on ESPN, the number 10 ranked UFC women's flyweight contender, Tracy Cortez. 126, the official weight for Tracy Cortez. All right, our final athlete to hit the scale this morning, competing in a prelim live on ESPN in the lightweight division, Terrence McKinney. 156, the official weight for Terrence McKinney. All right, thank you all for coming out. We'll see you for the ceremonials later today. One more sleep.